just take it and be glad, doing that, and that's what we did.
How is Travis different? How has he improved, Coach?
Who's that?
How is Travis different this year, and how is he?
Yeah, it's just taking the next step. I think just his maturity. He's always been a strong runner. I think for him the biggest step has been in pass protection. And that's another thing I should say is no sacks today, especially with all the different things up front, a lot of unknowns. To be able to come out with no sacks, that includes the running backs, offensive line, and tight ends being tied in. But, Travis has worked hard. He's a humble guy, very hardworking, doesn't listen to any of the outside noise or anything like that. And, it's great to be able to see him bounce back and have some explosive runs.
What's your take on the Lawrence hit that he delivered after the interception?
Yeah, I think probably his best play of the night happened on his worst play. And Coach Sweeney spent a lot of time talking in the locker room. That's how you win ball games right there. It's not what happens to you, it's how you respond. It would have been very easy for Trevor, to say, hey, you got me, and just kind of have a little half-speed jog over there and give him the pick six. But right there, when your maybe most talented player on your team is willing to give that type of effort and be able to trust his defense to go out and hold them out, that to me, even though I was disappointed on the interception and they kind of fooled us with some coverage stuff, that was one of the highlights, his effort right there, because that's how you win ball games, and for that to come from one of your most talented guys is a huge message to everybody in that locker room.
Trevor has faced a limited amount of in-game adversity. How do you feel he responded to what he saw today?
Yeah, Trevor's, he's a brilliant guy. He's got a great head on his shoulders, and very similar to last year at Texas A&M. They had something kind of similar that kind of fooled him one time, and then it's like you're not going to get him twice. And it was definitely a unique technique that the guy played, and really took a gamble. But it's something that Trevor will learn from. We'll learn from as coaches, and maybe not put him in some of those situations as well. But Trevor's a guy that he knows what's going on. We had to do a lot of communicating on the sidelines. There was a lot of communication coming from the box to the sidelines because it was just a lot of things that maybe we did not see on video, and had to kind of make some adjustments. And finally, in the second half, we said, hey, let's just run it, keeping all the coverage that they wanted to play.
What did you see on the touchdown to T going into that?
Yeah, number one, it was good to see Trevor give him an opportunity and throw it up. They played cover two to the field to where Ross was, and gave us kind of one of the rare one-on-ones that we got in the whole game was over there with T. I thought the corner, was very physical, and T did a good job. That's part of T's growth as a player, is getting in the weight room and getting stronger. And just the little things I could see on there, him being a physical guy, going to make that catch and then finish it off. It was definitely one of the highlights and explosive passing plays we had an opportunity for.
Sorry, Coach Frank was coming off the surgery. Had to be good to see him make that diving catch. Your impressions of him and Joseph?
Yeah, Frank really, whenever he had his little procedure, he was supposed to be out for Texas A&M. That was kind of would have been the normal thing, but just very rare for a freshman, the kind of mindset he had, coming and working his rehab, very similar to kind of what Amari's doing right now, coming back from his knee injury. It was great to see Frank get that opportunity. That's a lot to ask some true freshmen to get out there. I think about Joseph Ngata opening kickoff. We've had some great wideouts here. I don't know if we've ever put a true freshman wideout out there to catch the opening kickoff, and so it's good for both Frank and Joe to get some opportunities, and really pleased to see Frank go make that play. It's one thing to do it in practice, it's another thing to do it in front of a big crowd on a big stage, and that was definitely a positive today.
What was your impression of Georgia Tech's defense?
Yeah, they did a lot of things. I give them credit. They disguised a lot of their coverage, did some things a little bit different than maybe what we saw on the Temple video. So it took us a little while to kind of adjust to that. But, I give them credit. They definitely disguised some things and had us a little bit off of our rhythm there in the first half.
Did you say that downfield blocking from receivers and tight ends are right?
Yeah, I did. I told those guys whenever I huddled up with the wideouts after the game. And, number one, I was pleased with those guys. Obviously, we kind of went into the game thinking we were going to get a lot of one-on-one balls, a lot of touches, have a big opportunity in the passing game. We get here and it's the exact opposite. But man, those guys, they went out there. I saw several key blocks. I know T. Higgins had one big block in the boundary on Travis's long 90-yard run. And then also saw Justin Ross do a good job on some blocks, and DeAndre Overton. So to be able to see those guys excel and not sit over there and pout because it's not a passing game, but to be able to go and lay it on the line for those running backs, that's definitely a positive that we can build on, because there'll be other games that the running backs are standing in there having to take a lot of shots on the protections while we're throwing the ball downfield to the wideout. So that was definitely a positive, and I'm excited to go watch the video to see exactly how many key blocks we had, but I noticed several of them from the sidelines.